Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
The Blackstone thing, I mean, we get bang on Ms. Howard about pending litigation.
For the record, Alan Osborne. I've been in a lot of leadership positions, and I've worked for a lot of great leaders, and we don't have one right now. That's just all there is, because he's creating a culture that it's okay to screw up and you won't be punished. There's no accountability. I had to ask Commissioner Drake over a year and a half ago what to do about it. He told me to take it to Stan. Stan told me he would deal with it, and I got fed up with it after a long time. He's been given plenty of evidence. He absolutely could have held Mac responsible. Commissioner Johns wrote an affidavit where Mac made fun of it. And that culture is still here. It's still here, every bit of it. And that crap about a family, I don't think there's a one of you have dumped out your wallet for what a staff did that was wrong. Absolutely wrong, and we've been the victim of it about here. And I hate that y'all gave up control of your directors. You never should have. No commander should ever. And that's what y'all been elected to be here. You're not here to make the staff happy. You're here to make the constituents happy. You're here to make sure standards are enforced. And standards aren't being enforced, and he knows it. He's lied to me. I'll say it myself. And he hadn't held those people accountable. He's hired people that he has past relationships with it, and we know it. And it's not, oh, you can't do this, and I'm not going to listen to that stuff about God and throwing stones, because my house got stones thrown through it. I asked simply, unpersonally, for the law to be enforced and the ordinance to be enforced, and you sit there in defiance. I came up here and the stuff I can't talk about, so Mr. Atkinson said I can talk about getting the code enforced, and now I've spent 2 years. You've got staff that can't read a single paragraph out of a page from the state letters. Tabitha's turned that stuff in at ad nauseum, and she gets up there. You guys need to read your own development orders. You say you're not in daily business, and half the stuff y'all just said is daily business, and you're expected to do it. So just because that grand jury was what it was, your job is for the people. And my codes aren't being enforced, and you're getting litigation, and the litigation that you can't talk about, you're going to get a bunch more that you don't even know about yet, because the people haven't realized what's happened. If you want to stop the litigation, you will change the culture of leadership in this county. And this stuff about bringing God into it, God sees what some of y'all are doing, and it ain't good. They know what your vices are. They know what you've said. I gave Mr. Drake personally a thumb drive of all this stuff way before the election. He said he's going to do something with it, and Stan was part of the solution, and the problem is still there. Mac was a problem not dealt with. HR was a problem not dealt with. And you sent a message to all those people, just like when you didn't follow policy when Tony wanted Blue to speak. There was no motion. That's right. You broke the policy, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
There's somebody in the back.
Okay.
Mr. Osborne.
Come on, Mr.
Kevin.
Rowley.
Kevin, you can come on up. Let him say something before you start.
Go ahead.
I don't mind passionate debate. I don't mind trying to work to a solution. I want to ask you something.
Okay. I'll come up. Ain't no problem. What is it?
Did you know my mother?
No. Did you know mine?
Did you make a comment that when my mother passed away, that you hoped that she suffered severely from the cancer that she died from? Did you or did you not say that?
No, and that's not part of this, so I'm going to tell you something. I came up there and did. No, you're not going to. I know what I said. You know what I said? You use that as a crutch for half your life is what I said, and you still are. And I'll tell you that in front of anybody. You lied to me. Since you called me up here, you take that Bible and you do something else with it, because it ain't God's favor. You know what I'm asking for, and you've seen the documents. Don't you sit here and do that that to me.
Mr.
Don't you tell me
Osborne.
about what I've been. He talked to me.
That's enough.
That's his answer.
Wow.
Mr.
You're
Ross.
sorry.
Wow. That's leadership.
Yeah, you ain't none of it.
Oh, real quick, Mr. Rowley, on that note, though, on the first thing that you brought forward, Mr. Osborne, was an email.
I can't answer you no more, so stop.
Just,
Sure,
Talk to the chair.
You can talk, but don't ask him a question.
The email that he's referencing, I passed along to Mr. Sundin. Now, Mr. Sundin, where was that email? Where did that end up?
Every email, every complaint that has been originated by Mr. Osborne and sent to me or sent to me from a commissioner has been sent to code enforcement. And they have assured me that they have adequately investigated each complaint where there was an issue to be investigated. That's according to Mr. Cornman and Mr. Gainey.
Let's keep it on.
Real quick, I just have to, I mean, this is an honest process, and we have to hold people accountable.
I'm sorry, but Commissioner Curry's been trying to talk for a
I'm
while,
sorry.
and I've been making him wait until the
I
audience
think he would
is done.
enjoy what I have to say,
let's-
though.
Well, I was going to wait till after
That's-
the citizens comment, that's all.
But let me go ahead and put this in there, if you don't mind. Is Mr. Morales still here?
Yes.
All right, so you just intrigued the heck out of me, brother. I thought I remember reading on the gossip page last night that you were entirely on the other side of this issue. In fact, you said 3 votes in, 4 votes out.
Excuse me, I don't think that's appropriate.
Well, sure it
It
is.
is not appropriate
It's
to
my
bring in
constitutional
social
right.
media.
There's nothing that prohibits it. Am I right, Clay?
Whether the citizen wants to answer the question's a different story.
Correct.
Do what now?
He can make whatever comments he wants. Now, whether Mr. Morale wants to answer those is a
But why
separate
wouldn't you
story.
want the honesty? That's what I'm begging is like, if I'm being dishonest, I want somebody to call me out on it, but I just want people to be honest. And Mr. Morales said yesterday on this blog, he said, 3 votes in, 4 votes out. It's unfair to future commissioners to get a 4-vote removal. $400 an hour for extra on top of the $600K. Incentive structure is to litigate more. Incentive structure is terrible for county taxpayer in every way. And then he just came up here and addressed and said, everything you're doing is correct. Now that is bizarre.
May I speak?
Yes, you may.
All right. Well, now that the financials were discussed about how the monies were distributed, is it fine?
Alan, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, you let me talk. You're the one that referred to him as brilliant.
And I don't discount that.
So, with 3-2, 4-1. The other folks here have 4-1. At least this woman here does, and he's working on 4-1 potentially. So that's not new. So that I changed my view on that.
Last night?
Yeah, when I find out that she actually has a contract that's 4-1, and you guys apparently approved that in the past, did you not?
We did.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good. That's new
For an
information you
employee,
find
yes.
out. And when you find out how she runs the matrices on pays for people, when $600,000 really is actually, like he says, it's kind of a deal, which I didn't
Kind of a pay-per-click.
it's sort of, it makes sense when you have all the value added in there as far as the benefits and pay, and you're not paying the state retirement program either. There's a part of it. There's everything added into it. Factors. You find that funny, or what's going on?
Thank you very much. I appreciate
All right.
that. Ms. Harris.
Hold on, I know I'm getting thrown out, so I've got all my stuff with me, but I thought you were doing a real good job. You are a piece of work. You are an elected official.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Randy.
It's not your place to call a member of the public up here and humiliate, embarrass, and laugh at them. You are disgusting. I hope the governor sees it, and I hope you're thrown out of here. Goodbye.
Bye, Randy. Ms. Harris.
Okay, come on, guys, so you can throw me out. Listen, I'm not up here to talk about Clay's contract. You can read whatever you want to. I've said on Facebook, I don't give a shit. I'm telling you the truth. But here's what I am going to tell you. I've lost count of how many times I've sued this county. And every time I sued them, I got all my attorney fees paid, and I got just what I wanted. And I use pretty high-dollar attorneys. I don't use $200 an hour or $300 an hour attorneys. I haven't always liked Clay. If you can read, you've read everything bad I've ever written about Clay because I've got a lot of guts. And I posted it in the Defuniac Herald in full-page ads. But since Clay got up here, my attorneys had to deal with Clay 4 times on code things. And guess what? I hadn't been to court one damn time. You hadn't had every time I did go to court, though, Walton County hired Bill Warner, or I've forgotten all their names, but they got paid by y'all, and I always won. So I want you to hire outside attorneys, because then next time code enforcement runs over my beach chairs, I'm going to sue them again. Now, I'm just telling y'all, this is getting ridiculous, and what all's gone up here is ridiculous. But I hope we don't have to sit here through Ryan Kellenberger in this stuff. But actually, Brad, to call somebody back up here, if you want to call me, jump on me right now up at the podium. This is all coming unglued. We're an embarrassment, and this needs to stop. Take a vote and end this mess.
Thank you.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, we'll close public comments. And we have a motion and a second.
I call the question.
Oh, you call the question.
To call-
Okay.
Barbara Morano, I'm delighted that you have chosen Brian Kellenberger for this position. I'm also delighted with the contract. I like the idea of definitely 4-to-1. Look how long we have waited to have a full-time administrator. I've worked with Brian when he was with the tourist department. I've worked with Brian. I met him as a new resident, always listening to the citizens. Brian also, if you remember in the budget hearing, he brought up that there was a study on the planning, and I requested that study, and I sent it to each one of you as I sat there. So he was up on things. And he also knew that planning needed 2 FTEs, and the budget people said, oh, no, we're just going to give him 1. And now you're talking about a consultant. But I know that's another issue. My point is Brian knows what he's doing, and I want you to give him a 5-0 with this contract. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Alan?
For the record, Alan Osborne, I too support Brian because I've been to as many meetings more than some of you. And at least he stands up and tells people he don't back down off people. And I've never been that involved in the beach issue, so he ain't never had to deal with me much. But again, I want to go back to this 4-to-1 issue. You know what it screams? It screams to the whole state what Danny brought up, how everybody talks about us. We shouldn't have to compensate for a jacked up system. And in fact, what you just did is you took somebody's vote with only 3 votes, because that's the way I understand what passed. So you voted with 3 votes that you had to have 4. It seemed like you would have to have 4 to make that valid. So I go back to what I said before. Whatever Brian requires for money I don't know, some nice word, unscrew the pooch, as we called in the, to undo this mess, because y'all gave him a sandwich made of fecal material right in between the bread to eat. So I ain't got no problem with the money, but again, I go back to 4-to-1. You're saying that people in this county, because we're so fickle, need something in other system than everybody else's constitutional rights. And I go back to the system that I grew up in. 1 person, 1 boss. Everybody plays by the same rules. You keep creating new rules. And I'm going to go back to this aristocracy of your rules are different from everybody else. It's like the county aid job. Those people can't be held responsible? Who came up with that? Where's that in writing? That they don't have to follow policy and that only a commissioner can fire them. Now, I agree that you should be able to select people, but when you decide that these people don't have to meet the same standard to be gotten rid of as they do to be kept, I don't see how you justify that, because the reason we're here is our reputation in this county, set by a lot of people across the state, that we can't do business right. And the reason we've turned over so many planning directors and attorneys and county administrators is that very reason, that we've demonstrated to everybody throughout the state. You had at least 2 attorneys brought here that I've never heard today. I don't know why we don't have an RFQ for it. But Brian's contract got no issue with the money, got no issue with you giving him the authority to go do his job. There's no worse handcuffs for somebody than not having the authority to do what's been given to you. And I've been in that position, and it ain't no fun. So, but this 4-to-1 of making exceptional rules and never holding anybody accountable, as long as people continue to walk away with no punishment, people will continue to break the rules.
Thank you. Todd? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to clarify before I get started.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Yes, it's Michelle Blankenship Jordan. I had requested to be placed on the, and I apologize that your meeting rules are a little bit confusing, but on the public comment on non-agenda items. It doesn't state that there are time restrictions on this portion of the meeting.
We have 3 minutes is our standard policy.
For this portion?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I don't think I can get accomplished what I need to get accomplished in 3 minutes, but I am an applicant for the full-time in-house county attorney position. I applied after your last board meeting on July 22nd. I reached out 2 different times to Mr. Kallenberger by phone and had to leave messages. I also reached out by email in the same time frame. It took Mr. Kallenberger a week to respond to me. He did respond by email. He never did return my phone calls. He advised that he did not think it was appropriate at this time to introduce a candidate to the board, even though this board, and I've gone back and watched your meetings, I have not seen this board take a vote to remove that advertisement.
We don't typically take a vote to remove an advertisement. But I'm sorry, go ahead. I don't want to take your time.
This is one of 3 positions in your county that answers directly to the board. So I'm here today to address some concerns that I had about what I believe to be hurdles that have been put in place in administration with getting county attorney applications to the board. And Madam Chairman, when you're aware of a specific issue that I had when I notified Mr. Kallenberger after he let me know that I would not be placed on the agenda, because I wanted to present myself as the candidate and talk about my qualifications. I've been a county attorney for almost 14 years. I was the assistant county attorney in Jackson County for 2 years before I was appointed county attorney in 2014. I am the municipal attorney for 6 other municipalities across 4 counties. I meet all of your minimum criteria. I am here because I'm here to speak on behalf of Michelle Blankenship Jordan. I wanted to bring to light the issues that I believe are hindering your ability to interview or evaluate potential candidates. I spoke more than once in your past meetings that there are no other options, there are no other applicants, but I'm here. I assume that you all have my application and my resume, but I did bring extra copies if you don't. Again, I apologize. I was not expecting my comments to be limited to 3 minutes. So I'll cede my time if the board has any questions for me.
Does anyone have any questions? I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
For the record, Alan Osborne, I'm just going to tell you, I disagree with how y'all are doing this. I mean, I agree that you need to go through and find these financial things, and we found them before. I mean, and good employees can actually make a mistake, admit it. It's when they cover it up that it stinks. If you just say, hey, I did this and I did it wrong, and here's how I'm not going to do it again, that's called establishing policy. But some of the things that need to be audited is who didn't follow policy. Not did the money get collected, but how did it get approved in the first place? And every single lawsuit that's over, so you can't claim that litigation thing where we don't want to look at it, every one of them should be audited to see, did people not following policy put us, the taxpayers, into lawsuits? Because you ain't going to find it with this kind of audit. You're going to have to go look at these things that became contentious and see, did he follow it? There was a lot of things going on. By the very statement that y'all say that they need leadership from outside just proves my point. And nobody said they didn't. And nobody cried because he left. But the fact is that we spent a fortune putting ourselves into position, and planning was severely involved in what Mr. Gladwell said and not doing it right when CU started. I actually own property that has no public beach access and has private beach access in Okaloosa, and guess what? There's no issues, just like y'all said. Because they drew a line in the sand, they said that's what the rules were, and even the people who own the private stuff, that doesn't give them the right to violate walking on sea oats or digging up sea oats. They still have to follow those common laws too. So they don't have any of these issues. To be clear, that issue was created by Larry Jones and some other people that needed it created. So this audit needs to look into everything, because there were shenanigans, and that's why our legal matrix looks worse than Miami's. It is, and it all circled around the planning department and code enforcement, because honestly, if y'all owned every bit of the beach, you ain't got the infrastructure to get anybody to it. So it's like arguing over, do we have enough sugar in the bag of sugar? Yeah, and the sugar jar ain't got enough sugar in it. So you just get them useless points. But if you want our faith that you've really looked into the problems of the past and you've held people accountable, not let them resign, not let them walk. You've held somebody accountable. You've sent a message to everybody else that we're not going to put up with this anymore, because we're going to enforce standards and written policies. Thank you.
Mr. Osborne, what tool or instrument exists that we can utilize that would capture the type of audit, the type of audit criteria that would meet your satisfaction?
I don't know, but I just know that you're leaving out all the other issues with planning, and she said this is a financial audit.
You're saying, okay, I don't like how you're doing this. This is what's on the table.
Yeah.
What is it? What instrument exists that we can do it to measure those things that you want to capture?
Well, we don't have an instrument. That's why you're hiring somebody. You just have the complaints of the citizens.
No, but what can we go? Who can we go hire? How do we find the information that you're saying we need to collect?
Forensic audit, possibly?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
you got all, and this has been suggested many times. If you want the documents that you need to look into, hell, I got copies of them. Some of them are right there. And everybody knows I'm not bluffing. Got about 36, 37 boxes of them. But there's all kind of things that you've been in lawsuits, and the first place I would start is every place where this county in the planning got sued and had to pay out either our dollars or our state's insurance dollars. That would be an excellent place to start, because usually when we start in the big government of auditing something that's not working right, we pull out the policies in writing And I never led a section where I was not required to have all employees' policies out there. So the word policy is used here every day, but I challenge either of you to put your hand on a comprehensive list of it. So I would start, if you want an instrument, your legal matrix will be an excellent instrument, and so would your code complaint process of how many were dismissed by that code director that we suspect of shenanigans. I'll call it corruption, but I'll use your word if it makes you happy. But all of it leads to the waste of taxpayers' money, and we all deserve standards and policies on both sides of everything that both sides can understand. So that's where I would start.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Atkinson, what exists, what is at our disposal, a consulting firm, an auditing firm, whoever, that can measure what has been described by the last two audience participants?
Randy Lightner, Lightner. I was planning to step up here and say, I don't know what kind of audit you need, but I think the attorney cleared that up. You need a forensic audit, if that's the only way to find criminal wrongdoing. The hybrid deal that the attorney said the last time, sat right there and said the last time someone did something like this, planning director wound up in jail. The DO to Mossy Head that was expired years before it was ever even issued. That's going to result, we all know how that's going to go, that's going to result in over 2,000 homes in Mossy Head. They're going to win their lawsuit. Whereas if it had been done correctly from the beginning and not issued years out of date, maybe there would have been something that could have done to slow it down more or stop it. There's the Sandestin green space that's really fenced in sacred Indian land that's really a cell tower. There's the greenhouse tilapia farm that never was, but all of this grant money has gone towards it, and I may be mistaken, but my understanding at that time was the planning director had to sign off on some of this stuff for some of this money to go out. These are just a few things that I just sat here and recalled off the top of my head. So whether we're under, all due respect, whether we're under new leadership, new management or not, I don't see how there's not criminal wrongdoing that's been going on. Like I said, just off the top of my head, these are a few things. Other people know a lot more than me, so I'm not going to try to tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you I'm never going to believe you until you get a forensic audit.
Randy, can I pick up from what?
So that's my issue, and it's not I think anyone's trying to cover anything up. I'm never going to believe it until a forensic audit has been done. I think it's worth the money. Sure.
Madam Chair, may I?
Sure.
What you're doing is you're providing empirical evidence as examples of what needs to be looked at. That's meat on the bone. You're moving in the right direction, and that's what I'm trying to steer this conversation toward, is that if we talk in generalities, corruption, shenanigans, things like that, we're not really accomplishing anything until we hit those defined allegations. And you're right. What I think would be feasible is if we allowed the general public, just like you just rattled off 7 or 8 things, and probably 6 of those I've been curious about myself on what was, was there a resolution to it? Was it ever looked into? That's great. You're 1,000% on target. Could we, as a board, ask the general audience to give us the metrics that we're looking for, to lay out what it is? If you've got 8 things that you can recall that needed to be looked in, could we submit it to the county manager? If Mr. Roark has 2 or 3 things that he knows right off the top of the head, he could submit to the county manager. If Mr. Osborne has 7 or 8 or whatever he wants to submit, that way nothing gets overlooked. That it's something that you have identified, it's legit, it's not a general statement, but it is specific. If we can get it to him, then she can get it to Ms. Thomason. We can get it in the right posture to be investigated.
Well,
As long as it's, I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, maybe we could recommend and have our PIO put something out where people could just fill it out online or whatever and send it back to him, and he could put it in a spreadsheet so that we could know. But one of the things that you mentioned, in particular, you mentioned the Indian land that Sandestin uses as part of their green space. That was done by a board long ago, approved it. I don't understand why. I don't understand how.
Yeah, I'm
but it was
not
approved.
accusing anyone. I don't even know the time
just-
frames.
I'm just saying,
But-
you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
But
no matter how long ago it happened, it needs to be looked at to see how long has it been going on. The further back you say it goes, the worse it seems. So my only thing is, if whatever audit you guys decide to do, if it can't look into these kinds of, not these specifically necessarily, but these kinds of things, and if it can't end in someone in handcuffs, possibly behind bars, then it's not worth wasting your money on, in my opinion.
thank you very much.
For the record, Alan Osborne, I'm going to address two of the things. First of all, I'll address Clay by telling Donna, listen, Clay's a good attorney, and I hate saying that. He's a smart dude, and he knows what's going on, but the problem is this. You can't unconflict yourself. Now, except in public, I've never talked to Tony in private. Every one of you, at some time in your point, have told me Clay is conflicted. And you just can't unconflict yourself. Your opinion that he was he's a firm of one, and I think that would have been a critical information to tell you this firm is him. It's it. Okay? To my knowledge, there's not another attorney. So, and what I would tell you is this. You can't, like you said, if Clay wanted to tell you guys that he was your exclusive attorney, and he was only going to protect you, the staff, and the citizens of Walton County, I'd say sign that contract. But you're signing a $600,000 contract that's non-exclusive. Nobody else in Florida has that. And this salary's high. Is Clay smart? Yeah, but he ain't that smart. He ain't $600 smart. I'm hiring very experienced attorneys at $250 to $300 hours, and my father sat on the bench for 24 years, and we owned a law firm. Yeah, I get it. But you don't get 40 billable hours a week. You don't get paid $300 an hour to go to lunch unless you're with the client and you're talking business. It's just not reasonable. And I'm not going to enter into evidence today, but I've gone through my history of books, and I've got a series of stuff on Crawford, the airport, all these other issues, these private emails that clearly I'm happy to show to anybody that we have conflicts. Now, how do you go forward with that? So I'm going to take the last part of this. I think he's conflicted unless he wants to be exclusive to you. Then I'm okay with it. But I will tell you this, the 4-to-1 thing. All of you were elected on a process that one vote, if we had 1 million votes in Walton County and you got 499,000 and you got 500,001, that's enough to satisfy constitutional requirements. No employee in the federal government, either in SES executive service or anywhere else, needs to be fired by a majority of 80% of people. Just one person. Why would you do that? Why would you give somebody and create a hierarchy of aristocracy, is what it is, that you're above everybody else when it comes to being held to standards? I'm not saying Brian doesn't deserve the 4-to-1. I'm saying nobody does. His performance, just by what Clay says, will ensure that that man keeps his job by doing just what y'all said. You seem to be happy with him. But the chance that only one of you would have to be dissatisfied with him to get rid of him stands against every other federal employee, every other system of accountability. In fact, a general officer can be fired by one person. And I lived under the fact that I served at the pleasure of my appointed commanders, and they could fire me for one simple term. I've lost faith in you. So this 4-to-1 stuff is different from everybody else, and you should consider how that appears, because the appearance of a conflict
Thank you, Alan.
is a conflict.
Thank you. Randy.
I know I'm getting thrown out, so I've got all my stuff with me. But I thought you were doing a real good job. You are a piece of work. You are an elected official.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Thank Randy.
It's not your place to call a member of the public up here and humiliate, embarrass, and laugh at them. You are disgusting. I hope the governor sees it, and I hope you're thrown out of here. Goodbye.
Bye, Randy. Ms. Harris?
Okay, come on, guys, so you can throw me out. Listen, I'm not up here to talk about Clay's contract. You can read whatever you want to. I've said on Facebook, I don't give a shit. I'm telling you the truth. But here's what I am going to tell you. I've lost count of how many times I've sued this county. And every time I sued them, I got all my attorney fees paid, and I got just what I wanted. And I use pretty high-dollar attorneys. I don't use $200 an hour or $300 an hour attorneys. I haven't always liked Clay. If you can read, you've read everything bad I've ever written about Clay, because I've got a lot of guts. And I posted it in the Defuniak Herald in full-page ads. But since Clay got up here, my attorneys had to deal with Clay 4 times on code things. And guess what? I hadn't been to court one damn time. You hadn't had every time I did go to court, though, Walton County hired Bill Warner, or I've forgotten all their names, but they got paid by y'all, and I always won. So I want you to hire outside attorneys, because then next time code enforcement runs over my beach chairs, I'm going to sue them again. Now, I'm just telling y'all, this is getting ridiculous, and what all's gone up here is ridiculous. But I hope we don't have to sit here through Ryan Kellenberger in this stuff. But actually, Brad, to call somebody back up here, if you want to call me, jump on me right now up at the podium. This is all coming unglued. We're an embarrassment, and this needs to stop. Take a vote and end this mess.
Thank you.
Accept Zoom testimony under the terms and conditions and under the circumstances the magistrate deems appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second for the magistrate to hear the Zoom call. Okay, any comments from the audience? Any comments from the board? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Everybody
Motion
go ahead and have
passes.
a
Thank you.
big glass of wine. Thank you.
Oh, I had a hand.
Alan, Mr. Osborne, I believe.
Did you want to speak to that? I'm sorry, I didn't see you.
I disagree with the magistrate, but if you're going to do that, what is an expert? I mean, we got people come in there sometimes that say, I'm an expert, and then they'll say, you're not. There's no educational requirements. There's no nothing. So that gets to the fact that now that we have a judge, so to speak, you know, anything that's admissible in court as testimony should be admissible to them. Every court now takes Zoom, like you just said. But the question is, what is an expert? I see people in there all the time that call up and I say I'm an expert pilot. You know why? Because I got a license that says I am. But to go in there and say I'm an expert on this, let me tell you something. I'm an expert on Sandestin. You know who declared me that? Larry Jones, in sworn testimony, said I knew more about it than anybody he'd met. So what is it going to be? So now that y'all have relinquished what we expected y'all to do, quite honestly, is handle problems. Now that you've relinquished it, what is the rules? Because we got somebody that we didn't elect, that we're answering to, and we didn't file in court. We wanted to be heard by the people who represented us, because that judge doesn't live in our community and doesn't live in our district. And there's no way that it's a she, is that what you said? There's no way that she can determine if something affects our community adversely instead of what's just written, because that's why y'all are there. In fact, if y'all didn't have those reasons to make those decisions, we wouldn't even need you. We could just elect Brian Kellenberger and everything just followed the code. But the fact that you have to look at it is the only reason y'all exist. So to pass this off and not tell us what the rules are, because we're going to get steamrollered by lawyers and developers who really don't have any more qualifications than some of us except a bunch of money. That's it. So we need to know what all the rules are, not just that one and what's going to be acceptable.
Yes, ma'am.
one quick thing about,
Take my medicine.
I hope it's a tranquilizer. Today at Freeport, I got a text message from somebody that was at the EDA, or at the Freeport City Council, to remind me that the Freeport City Council was begged for a letter to bring to y'all in support of the EDA, and they did not give it. And the person on the city council that sent it to me said their mayor or whoever he is had no right to get up here and speak for the city council because they did not vote to send you a letter in support. Also, I understand that Defuniak was asked to send a letter in support of the EDA, and they did not send one either. So that's the end of the EDA thing. Now, my second thing, I want to thank all of y'all for getting Horsepower Pavilion, which has been on the works for years. Thank you so much for getting that one at least put to bed. Clay, pay attention. Look at me. I have been going through the Sandestin thing with Alan Osborne for years and years and years. He has come to speak at one of my meetings and brought boxes and boxes and laid out all the stuff on the table to argue with somebody who thought he was wrong. And when the meeting was over, the guy had to apologize to him for everything that he had said because Alan was right. He met in my Riviera room with Brad Drake when he first came on for over 3 hours, showing him everything he had. Clay, you're not looking at me.
Oh, trust me, I'm listening. I'm pulling up a date. Because I may have to say something in a minute.
I expect this board to get Sandestin. And Clay, now that you're the permanent county attorney, I expect you to get to work on this and get Sandestin put to bed.
September 11th is mediation in that case.
I didn't say interrupt me.
Well, I wanted to let you know. That's
Well,
your
I'm
date.
telling you, don't interrupt me. I expect y'all to do what's right and get these things put to bed. And Clay, it took you working to help get Horsepower Pavilion, and it took all of y'all finally coming to terms that Kate really should at least be open. And I know that she only had a short time to get her plans, but I understand her plans are already done way ahead of time, and they'll be ready to turn in by the end of this week. But we have got to get the Sandestin thing done. Me nor any other citizen wants to sit up here for the next 5 years listening to Sandestin. So I really and truly hope that y'all will get some executive sessions done, and before Alan's court thing with Adams Homes, I hope y'all can get at least a settlement thing put to bed.
Thank you very much. By the way, thank you, Heather, for being here today. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
And I know the board were working on all that, but we can't comment on it.
Right. Alan?
We already talked once in public, didn't we? You already spoke once.
No, he spoke on the other thing.
For the record, Alan Osborne, I'm not going to talk about my settlement because Clay asked me not to. So I'm going to talk about, well, Clay asked my attorney not to, and I agree. So I am going to talk about code. I got a final order. That's it. It's over. And I presented it to your code enforcement and to all of you. And I want to ask you, what do you think it's telling all the citizens that have watched me go through court for 20 years, and then I'll win, and y'all ignore the court order? Just ignore it. I mean, it's your own findings. I watched Tabitha's code, and I chimed in on it. Code asked her to say, where is the open space violation? I dealt with that crap, too. I offered to meet them and show them the violation right here. But your own planning board already, by that court order, they already said it's out of compliance unless this was changed, and now that's been reversed. So you're out of compliance. And I don't understand the motivation when you finally have a court order that you can hold somebody responsible, and instead you've pushed it back on the public. But that's up to you. The second thing I'm going to tell you is I am a product of the government. That means the government helped pay for my education because I was at 17. But unlike y'all, unlike the HR guy who got a doctorate degree and then quit, And then Uriah, we paid for his school. Now he's resigned. Every time I took a course, I signed a commitment. Didn't you, Donna? Mm-hmm. So when I got qualified in something and the people paid for it, I owed them. And if I left, I had to pay it back. It's time for y'all to have a policy that says if we pay for your qualification, and I just use the federal government. When I got my last qualification, for every year they sent me to school, I owed them 2. Why don't y'all do that? That's crazy. We're going to pay for people to get qualified and then let them go? Your government doesn't do that. So I'd ask you to look at that. Secondly, I'd ask you to put all policies in writing. I'm so sick of 25 years of coming to meetings. When I led, anybody that worked for me could walk into the Policy and Procedures Board and find out what the policy was, what was in writing, when it was adopted, when it expired, and who was the authority, i.e. General so-and-so or Secretary so-and-so. Why don't we have that after 20 years? And so I'll get to the last thing, the EDA. What a hot air. I was at the meeting when we formed that, and we adopted Bill Enfield, who was an accountant in the FBI, had never created any jobs, and we were shocked it failed. And then we put out the requirements, and then we hired somebody who didn't meet minimum requirements. Hey, it's time to look at that. That's what minimum requirements are, and we shouldn't give away stuff for free. But I was at the meeting, and it was pitched to all of us that you all were creating it to create jobs. I was there. Thank you.
Thank you.
So was Danny.
Thank you, Todd.
But that's not what's happening right now. This room has turned into an arena for theatrics, and it's disgusting. And what's disgusting is the hypocrisy. Now, I don't know, Mr. Curry, if you've changed your mind. If you wholeheartedly believed that, once you got into office, you never put that on the agenda. So I would ask is,
Can I respond?
Was that just campaign fodder? Were you just trying to appease a crowd by making that statement? Because Clay is a polarizing figure. We're all polarizing at times. But you never followed through with it.
Can I respond?
In just a minute. But then there were the people that before I even got here that were insistent that change needed to be made, change needed to be made. But now it's a new day, and the alignment is now back the opposite. Why is that? Something happened, something changed. What happened?
3 reasons why you need this portable weapon.
Corruption. Because there's always somebody at the head. And so if you philosophically and in your heart you believe passionately about an issue, but then you're led to think differently and everybody joins along, it's corruption. And all of us say we want to fight corruption, and it's just over and over. And nobody does. Nobody wants to be honest, have integrity.
That's not true at all.
That's not true.
I don't appreciate that one bit. Not one bit. I do not appreciate that one bit.
It absolutely is appalling at the hypocrisy.
May I?
Yes, you may. Go right ahead.
I wrote every word that you said. I was on that side of the fence. I think earlier tonight I said when I got elected, it would only be responsible of me to hit the reset button. Damn, Brad, the county put a trespass warrant on me on your bridge. Don't you think I would have had an issue with all the, and I don't. I came in, I hit the reset button. I'm like, look, I need to give the benefit of the doubt on this side of the fence. And I've had several conversations with Mr. Atkinson. And he'll tell you, I said, look, since there's no attorneys lining out the door over here, maybe we need to renegotiate your contract. He doesn't disagree. He even said that he can't be the single attorney here because he either did, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but didn't want to, or I don't know. In other words, he wanted to put a group of attorneys together, and then he right off into sunset at some other time. That is what we had several conversations about. I have no problem with that. And if that makes me a hypocrite, I guess I'm a hypocrite. I mean, we're all up here hypocrites. If you want to boil it down, I mean, I mashed a video together not too long ago that proved it, undoubtedly proved it. But that went away like it was nothing. Oh, that's just normal day-to-day stuff, it's status quo. But I didn't hear you say any of this, what you said about the county administrator position today, than the 3 meetings that I stayed up till 3:30 in the morning and watched about Quinn Robertson. I don't know where the Commissioner Drake was then that's here today. I didn't hear no sermons. I didn't hear no Lord. I didn't hear no glass houses. I didn't hear any of that stuff when it was the Quinn time. And I know there's some relationships here. I get it. You know what? You go to school together. You go have some beers together. You whatever. I get it. But again, it boils down to business. This is not personal. You keep bringing it up like it's personal. It's not. We need to run this county like a business, period. For so long, we have just wrote checks. I mean, I sit in TDC meetings where the answer was, well, we've always wrote a check for $140,000 to have our marketing firm ask another marketing firm for something that another marketing firm already told us. Well, that's what we do all the time. What's wrong with that? This is a business. We need to start acting like it is. Nothing personal. We can, you guys want to go out and have beers, whatever. I don't care. Whatever you do outside this is your own business. But what happens inside this is their business and our business.
Well, I just want to say, Stan Sunday told me over a year ago he wanted a deputy. I've not seen any movement towards a deputy. He wasted $100,000 in that HR debacle. The list goes on and on. This is nothing personal with me either, and I do not for one second appreciate you calling me corrupt. There's not a corrupt bone in my body.
Corrupt.
But you were talking about us.
No, I'm
part of
talking
us.
about everywhere.
Well, I'm not corrupt. I've
I
never been
accept
corrupt.
that.
I'm not ever going to be corrupt.
I believe
I think
that.
for myself. And I just want to do the right thing. And this does need to be run by like a business. It really does. We cannot continue to we have so many positions that are unfilled, that are very important positions. We can't continue on like that. We can't. We need a county administrator. We need a deputy. We need a planning person. We need an executive TDC guy. There's so many positions that we need to fill desperately. We're just kind of like a dead fish flopping around. I mean, it's really ridiculous. And so it's nothing personal to anybody. I feel bad for Mrs. Sunday not being able to speak
And
her
now
piece.
we'll see Tony Anderson.
For the record, my name is Tammy Sunday, Sunday. Brad, we're going to talk about family. Yes.
We're not asking board questions. Say what you want to say.
Okay, well, he felt that it was okay to ask Mr. Osborne about family. So I'm going through the door that has been previously opened.
We are not discussing yours and Mr. Sunday's personal life.
Mr. Anderson,
Ms. Sunday, that's policy. We're not discussing.
you've not heard one thing that I've had to say yet.
I just want you to.
I hear you,
All right.
okay? I got you. I've got you, okay?
Sorry.
Now, Mr. Brad, you started out saying, do you know my mother? Okay. I posed that question right back to you. Do you know my mother?
I can tell you this, Miss Sunday, I've never said anything hateful, hurtful, or derogatory
Okay.
about any of your family.
Fair enough. My mother died of cancer.
Go ahead.
My mother died of cancer as well, okay? So I understand. And if you're trying to draw sympathy from your mother, then you know what? My mother died of cancer. My father died of a heart attack, and I'm an only child. So right now, I'm going through the toughest time of my entire life alone, Mr. Drake, alone. Do you know what that feels like? And do you know what it feels like to sit here and listen to you give your speech, give your sermon about forgiveness and about throwing stones? Well, you know what? The sermon that you preached, you forgot a part. So let me help you with the last part, okay?
This part of the policy discussion.
Well, bringing up mothers wasn't part of the policy either. So, I mean, you're gonna be selective?
You open the door for the preaching. So, by God, I've brought my Bible.
Ms. Sunday, if you will please just address your comments directly to the chair or to the board as a whole rather than individual.
Gotcha. Yes, sir.
If she steps out of the standard policy,
Okay.
you have
All
the gavel,
right.
Mr. Chair.
So I believe you were preaching on John 8:4-11 on the stoning of the woman. So if we go down to verse 11, it also says, "Go now and leave your life of sin." Other words, sin no more. And I believe it's very clear that I'm not the only damn one in this room that thinks that that has not happened. Now, if this board intends to tolerate the activity of your acting administrator that is the face of your organization.
That's it. You're not getting into that.
Okay, so we'll talk in generalities. Ms. Johns brought up the point earlier that says that employees that are walking about are the billboard for your organization. What does that say about your organization? Yes, Mr. Anderson. What does it say about you and you're condoning such behavior? I think it is a poor moral compass, to say the least.
That's it.
So you're going to shut me down because you don't like what I have to say?
We're talking about Mr. Sunday's job performance.
Yes, how can he perform his job to the best of his ability when it's going to put you all in litigation every damn time that he tries to reprimand a subordinate, and that subordinate comes to you, Mr. Anderson, and says, how can you allow me to be chastised by the highest person in your organization when you tolerate the wrongdoing?
You through?
I guess I am, since my time's up, but I have a hell of a lot more that I have to say.
Well, say it in court.
That I'll take that as an invitation and challenge accepted.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Nope. I don't see anyone. Oh, yeah.
one.
Okay, come up.
Those people, just like when you didn't follow policy when Tony wanted Blue to speak, there was no motion. That's right, you broke the policy, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
There's somebody in the back.
Okay.
Kevin Roll, I think.
Mr. Osborne. Ship.
Yeah, you ain't none of it.
Oh, real quick, Mr. Rowley, on that note, though, on the first